question to all the ladies out there. What is that one thing you wouldn't leave your house without? And what's that one thing you don't even want to see on a Sunday afternoon when you have the whole day to yourself just relaxing? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the garment that lifts and separates, the bra. Although the patent for the design was obtained in 1914, the bra has existed as an idea for years before that. The fact that a single piece of clothing can mean so many things to so many people fascinates me. To some, it's constricting, to some, it's liberating. What does it mean to you? Welcome to Fit Again, a show where you don't need to fit in. Today we have with us Kornica Dhar. Welcome Kornica to the show.
Hi.
Thanks for being with us. How are you?
Thank you for having me here. I'm good.
Tell us something about yourself, who you are, where you're from, since when have you been in Bangalore?
I am from Jamshedpur. It's still a town or a small city. I have been in Bangalore for the last 8-9 years now. And yeah, Bangalore has been home for the last, as an adult, I would say Bangalore has been the home to call. So yeah.
Okay. And where do you work?
Yeah, so I work with Diageo. I work with them as a PR professional. Basically, my job entails working with a large number of bloggers, both fashion and other genres.
Okay, so fashion is sort of like an important part of your life. Should I
Yes, you can say that.
Okay.
Because, however, I've never really pursued anything on mainstream fashion per se as a career. But growing up, I've always wanted to be a part of the whole, glamorous fashion world, because that's something which, who wouldn't want to, right?
Right.
So yeah, growing up, I never really wanted to, however, design outfits or style per se, but I was very interested in fashion communication. But coming from a family that does not believe fashion as a mainstream, career option, I was persuaded not to follow it.
Oh.
So I picked the next best option that I had, which is communication management.
Where do your fashion influences sort of come from, or where did this sensibility sort of develop that, okay, Kornica is this and this is how she should dress and this is my unique identity?
I think that took a while. It did not happen immediately, right? So I feel it's like a circle. When you are like you're a child, or when you're growing up, your parents pick your outfits for you, right? And surprisingly, the outfits my mom picked for me were lovely. I have some pictures from when I was a kid, and I see that I'm like, okay, I like what I'm wearing. It's nice. At least I wasn't as bad growing up. And we tried everything, right from your embroidery pants to your the whole bells and the whole puffed sleeves, everything and anything. And obviously there have been some regrettable choices, but then again you always come out of it, and I feel unless you may have made those mistakes, you will not know what you want to eventually mold yourself into.
So Kornica, let's talk about the regrettable mistakes that you mentioned. Anything that's embarrassing and not very happy but funny?
Well, so I have an older sister, right? So growing up, you always switch clothes, or you always, because she wouldn't fit into my clothes, but I would always steal her clothes, which have always been a thing, which is fine, which has been okay. But her way of getting back at me on that was amazing. She studied outside, right, after a certain year. So I was probably in 6th or 7th grade that time, and I would go and do my shopping, and I would come back home, and she would visit. I would show her all my new stuff that I'm buying. So I remember this day very clearly. I had like 4-5 denims like laid out on the bed, and they had like the most ugly looking embroidery on them. Like they had, if I see them now, I would probably burn them. But yeah, so she saw them. She was very happy for me. She's like, oh, they're very pretty.
Oh.
Wear them, all of that. And then like few years later, when I realized, what she did, I hated that.
Yeah.
but it was obviously a joke for her, because obviously she knew that wasn't something which but then I think her point of view also was right, because that in a small town, when you're doing certain things, that fits in for the town, or
Right.
it kind of works for the town. So I know for a fact that when I wore those stuff, people around me liked it. But if I look back at it now, I think there was a very, very bad choice.
Bad choice.
Apart from that, there was this other thing. I had these, those jumpers that you wear, when it had just come in. Long back. I think this is the time when Kuch Kuch Hota Hai had just released.
Yeah.
Yes, so Kajal wearing all of that. So I had this one romper sort of a thing, which was a very baggy purple colored romper with some stripes on it. Okay, and it was like probably I still remember it very clearly. It was like probably one of the ugliest things that I would have ever worn. So yeah, I had some really weird moments with that.
So, but do you get any kind of reactions or comments from people around you, people that you interact with on a day-to-day basis about the way you dress or the way you carry yourself?
Surprisingly and thankfully, so far I have never really had that issue in Bangalore. Not that I can think of. Or I'm assuming there would have been a few stray incidents, but I clearly don't have anything etched in my memory. So I'm assuming that wouldn't have impacted me, in a negative way.